students, in today's session we will gonna discuss modes of failure of a tension member. As you already know, we were discussing tension members and we have already understood what are the different types of cross sections we use as a tension member. We have classified them and understood what is the purpose and function of each of the cross section while using it as a tension member. Now, moving further, today we will understand how tension member gets fail, and the tension members are get fail with three different types, and that's what we call modes of failure. There are three different modes by which you can able to understand failure behavior of a tension member. So very first mode of failure is a gross section yielding. See, before going further, I want you to make understand this thing which is gross and net. See, if we're talking about a area, let's suppose we have rectangular with this, an area of rectangular will be length into breadth, right? If we are saying length into breadth is the area of this rectangle, this is the gross area. This is the complete area of that rectangular piece. If we said I am making hole into that rectangular, I am making hole into that rectangular for connecting it to the another rectangular plate. I want to connect this rectangular plate with the another rectangular plate. In that case, I have to make a holes and I will place a bolts to connect one plate with another plate. In that case, the area of that plate or rectangle will get reduced. And that reduced area of a rectangular plate with the holes is called as a net area. A suffix n is the notation of net area, whereas if you are considering gross area, then A, G will be the notation of gross area. I hope you understood. The gross area is the area of any plate without any holes, and the area is not reduced while doing a connection of that member. It is the complete area of the piece or that object. Whereas net area comes in a picture where you want to connect that object with some another object, and while doing that you have to put some connecting holes, and that reduces our area of object, and that reduced area is called it as a net area. Moving further, let's come to the definition over here, or general information about the gross section yielding. As I said, gross section, it means that the plate or a angle or the cross section which you are considering is having complete area. It doesn't carry any holes for connecting purpose. This complete area of the plate is called as a gross section. Understood? And if such a gross section is yielding you must have understood already from the stress strain curve graph of a mild steel. While doing a testing on a mild steel on UTM machine or universal testing machine, you understood when the yielding has started in the mild steel. That same yielding occurs in our plate in the gross cross section. Understood? Now let's learn further about it. What I have wrote over here is, generally a tension member without bolt holes can resist loads up to the ultimate load. Okay, if you have an object or a plate like this with you, it is a cross section which has a complete gross area with it, and if we tested such a type of plate or a tension member without any bolt holes, can we observe that it can carry a load up to the ultimate point, ultimate load. It can resist up to the ultimate load without any failure, without even any failure. But such members will deform in the longitudinal direction considerably before fracture. What happens if we apply a loading upon it? Let's suppose you have a plate or a, let's suppose this is the angle section you have connected to the gusset plate. This one is the which is in trapezoidal shape is a gusset plate, and this is your angle कुछ इस तरीके से है आपका. Wait a minute. If you're talking about how I am saying it as an angle, I will tell you it is in this form, right? Angle ऐसे होता है and it is like this, correct? This angle, if I see from front view, then I can see, sorry, from this side, this front view, okay? What can I see? A thickness, right? And a plate below it, right? That is what I shown over here, a thickness of this leg and plate below it. Okay, now if I am observing a angle section is connected to the gusset plate like this, and if I am applying a tensile force on that angle section, what will happen? That angle section which will show us a yielding, before any failure. Before failure, it will show us a yielding, which is wrote over here. Such a members will deform in the longitudinal direction considerably before fracture. मतलब क्या होगा? If you apply a force on that angle section, it will show us a yielding. Yielding मतलब it kind of deformation only, right? It will become like this. It will yield. It will show us a deformation, right? In the longitudinal direction considerably before fracture. At such a large deformation, a structure become unserviceable. What happened? I have shown you already. If this angle section is showing us a yielding, it is getting larger than its actual shape, then what happens? It fails under, it becomes unserviceable. What do you mean by unserviceable now? See, in the limit state method we have understood, limit state method is developed or designed on the basis of two criteria. One is the limit state of strength, one is the strength criteria, and second one is your serviceability criteria, right? In the strength criteria, we design a section for this collapse. Okay, structure collapse fails down due to which reason? It may collapse due to tension, maybe due to twisting forces, maybe due to shear forces, or maybe due to torsion which is already I said twisting, or maybe due to compression forces, or maybe due to bending stresses. Okay, all these primary things which cause our structure fails, against that we will design our structure. That is what we call strength criteria of limit state method. In the second criteria, in the serviceability criteria, what happens? In the serviceability criteria, we check our cross section, or we check our designing for secondary stresses. Which are the secondary stresses? The stresses are vibration, then deflection, you can say vibration, then deflection, then cracks occur into the structures. For that we will check a serviceability criteria. So basically serviceability criteria is about deflection. If your object is showing much deflection, let's suppose you are sitting under this structure, here it is a beam and you are sitting below it. Okay, now if this beam is showing a large deformation like this, and even designer said that this beam will not collapse, it just showing us a deformation but it will not collapse, still a person cannot able to sit below that beam. Why? Because he is feared of its large deformation. He is feared of what? Large deformation the beam showing us. It will make us feel that the beam can collapse at any time. Therefore, this beam which showing us a larger deformation or deflection is fail under serviceability criteria, or it becomes unserviceable. Similarly, in this criteria, gross section yielding, the member was of this shape before, and when you apply a tensile force it become of this shape. Okay, and it is showing yielding somewhere between, then this kind of yielding will cause the section unserviceable, to make it our section unserviceable. Now if we want to calculate that what is the gross sectional yielding occurring, how we will do that? There is a formula for it. You must write down these points in your notebook, and this formula is very essential and important. There will be a question to calculate all the strength criteria, all the strength of that section. They will give you a section like this, a plate connected to gusset plate, and they will ask at what strength this plate will fail. And to find that failure strength, you should able to understand and able to calculate all the types of failure strength. And that failure strength is, you can calculate from yielding, then second mode as a net section rupture, and third mode as a shear. Okay, one by one we will able to understand, or we will try to understand formulas, but this is the first formula you should write down in your notebook. That is, gives us a at what point the cross section will fail due to yielding. How to calculate that? With this formula in a box. What it is consist of? See, it consists of TDG, which tells about yielding of gross section. Yielding of gross section. TDG. TDG is a force or failure force at which the gross yielding cross section takes place, or yielding of gross section takes place. See, as I said, the section was of this size before. When it applied a tensile force, it will get a larger shape and it will show us a yielding. It will show us a yielding. At what force that yielding occurs in a section, to calculate that, this formula is mentioned over there. It says that TDG, it means that yielding of a force in a gross yielding of cross section is equals to Fy. Fy is a stress. Yield strength. Yield strength, you already know. Yield strength Fy is mentioned in a mild steel curve like this at elastic point. I hope you remember, it is a very important part. Then Fy is the yield stress into gross area divided by gamma m0. What does gamma m0 stands for? It is a partial safety factor for the material of cross section. Here I am giving a value of partial safety factor for a steel. It is mentioned even in your IS code. Moving further to the next failure pattern, which is net section rupture. Net section rupture, it is says that now your plate which you are taking into the consideration had some holes upon it. And why those holes are made? Those holes are made to put a bolts inside it and place this or connect this plate to the another plate. How you will do that? By making some hole and you will put a bolt inside it and then you will connect it to the another plate. But in that case what happens? The area of cross section get reduced. The area of cross section get reduced, and that's what we call net section. That's what we call net section. In this kind of a net section where we have placed holes or where we made holes inside our cross section and area got reduced, what kind of failure takes place? The failure takes place is a net section rupture. See, a tension member is often connected to the main or other members by a bolts or welds, obviously, right? When connected using bolts, tension members have holes and hence reduce a cross section. That is what we call net area, being referred to as the net area, right? Holes in the members cause stress concentration at the service load as shown in figure. Now, this is important. See, when there is a hole inside your plate, then what happens? The stress concentration will occur in adjacent place of that hole. How it will occur? See, you have a plate like this, you have hole inside it. Now when there is a hole, the area will reduce. Therefore, what is stress? Stress is a sigma. Stress is force per unit area. If area got reduced, what will occur? Stress is inversely proportional to area. If area is reducing, stress will increase, right? And therefore, when there is in this cross section the area got reduced, then there will be a concentration of stress like this. There will be a concentration of stress like this. And from the theory of elasticity, we have know that the tensile stress adjacent to the hole will be about 2 to 3 times the average stress on the net area. What they are saying, the average stress on this area will be, wait a minute, yes, what they said, from the theory of elasticity, we know that the tensile stress is adjacent to hole. Adjacent to hole means in a neighboring place, okay, adjacent to it will be about 2 to 3 times the average stress on the net area. Matlab stress is increasing, and how much times it is increasing? 2 to 3 times it is increasing compared to the net area. And when tension member with hole is loaded statically means what kind of a load it is constant load. It is not varying. You have applied a load which is constant in a magnitude. The point adjacent to the hole reaches the yield stress. What will happen? This is the hole. The adjacent fibers of this holes will first reach to the yield stresses Fy, right? On further loading, the stress at the point remains constant as a yielding stress, and each fibers away from the holes progressively reached. Okay, that's why this pattern is like this. Progressively reach to what? Yield stress Fy. Slowly they will reach to the yield stresses. That's how I shown pattern over here, right? Now deformation continues with increasing load until finally rupture of the member occurs when the entire net cross section of the member reaches the ultimate stress Fu. the net section rupture is calculated as C. First, there is a hole, that why the cross section area is reduced, cross section area reduced to from gross to net area. In the net area, first of all, stress concentration will occur near to the hole, and all the fibers adjacent to the hole are experiencing 2 to 3 times more yielding, 2 to 3 times more stress than the other area, and the stress concentration cause a first fiber will reach into the yield stress, and then if we keep statical load on it, if we keep loading on it, the adjacent fibers to it also will reach to the yield stresses, and further loading will cause it to turn into ultimate stress Fu, and there where the net section rupture is occur. How to calculate that? How to calculate force at what net rupture occurs? TDN stands for net force at which net section rupture occurs is given as a 0.9 into FUAN. What is FU? FU is the ultimate strength, because at ultimate stresses the net section rupture occurs, whereas in previous at yielding stresses only, the section fails or become unserviceable, therefore we use yield stress. In the net section rupture we are using ultimate stress Fu into net area, because net section is reducing or failing down, and gamma m1 is a partial safety factor for failure, and I have mentioned the value of it is 1.25, and gamma m0 will be used in a yielding, and the value of it is 1.10. Now last mode of failure is a block shear failure. In this failure mode, the failure of member, now you all are very aware about the shear failure. Okay, shear term is habitual to you. You must have understood what is shear. Shear is an equal and opposite forces acting across a section, causing one layer to slide above other. What I said, what is shear? Shear is equal and opposite forces acting across a section, and it will cause one layer to slide above other layer, right? In this failure mode, the failure of the member occurs along a path involving tension on one plane and shear on the perpendicular plane along the fasteners. Fasteners are nothing but the bolts. Okay, it's a kind of connection. We will learn what are the different types of connections you have: welding, fastener, rivets, bolts. These are the different types of connecting objects or tools you use. We will learn that in the next chapters, but right now fastener is kind of a connection that you have to remember. Now see, I will explain whatever I wrote over here with the example of, again, a angle is connected to the gusset plate. Okay, and now this angle is connected with the 4 bolts. You can see over here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you have connected an angle to the gusset plate with 4 bolts. When you place a tensile force upon it, when you apply actually a tensile force on that tension member, in this tensile force, equal and opposite force will develop. Okay, there is a failure caused by a shear. I am showing below over here. This dotted lines telling us a tensile failure, shear failure. Okay, under a application of tensile force. This is how a shear failure occurs. Why it is happening like that? Because see, when you apply a tensile force, equal and opposite force applied by a connecting member. Equal and opposite forces applied by a connecting member. What happens while this behavior? what happens is, on this member, see, on this edge of this angle, that edge is experiencing tensile force, where these two are experiencing, wait a minute, this is experiencing shear force, right? This is experiencing shear force. That's what I wrote over here. In this failure mode, the failure of the member occurs along a path involving tension on one plane, right? On this plane you are experiencing, or that edge experiencing tension and shear on a perpendicular plane along the fastener. On this perpendicular plane of the fastener we are experiencing shear. The combination of this shear and tensile force causes a block shear failure, Now I have two different diagrams over here. One is showing us a bolted connection. It is bolted connection. Now the question is, does it happen in a welded connection also? Yes, it happens in welded connection as well. See here, the angle is connected to the gusset plate with welding. This shaded region shows us a welding connection. What will happen then? In that case, this welded connection totally comes out from the gusset plate. There are different types of failures. This failure of this block shear failure in gusset plate and angle will follow different paths. They can follow a path. Here in this case they followed a path 1, 2 and 3, right? They can follow a path like 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Remember, as well as they can follow a path 1, 4 like this. Okay, there are plenty of the ways how a block shear failure can occur in any connection. Okay, so to give an idea about it, I will send a videos of it on your official group. Here our section ends. We have understood 3 different types of modes of failure. You write it down, this modes of failure, in your book, in your notebook, and make a note of it. I hope you understood all the contents. Thank you.